What's up, party people? Welcome to the most bussin' podcast of all time. My name is Kendra Middleton, and I am joined by my co-host, Sarah Griffin. Sarah, how are we this week?
Good. A lot better than I was the last few weeks, so we're good.
Okay, dope. Love that. All right, so if you are new here, we do a segment called HLH every week, which is your high, your low, and your hero of your prior week, just so we can kind of catch up with you guys about what's been going on with us, sports world, Twitter, all of that fun stuff. So, Sarah, what is your HLH this week?
Okay, so my high this week, I did go to the Bruins game Tuesday. It was not a good game to see, but I got to see the Willie O'Ree jersey retirement ceremony, and that was actually really cool. I think they did a really good job with it. So that was definitely high because I don't think I've ever seen a jersey retirement ceremony. Low was the actual game itself. They lost 7-1. 7-1. Yep. It was bad. It was really, really bad.
Oh no. I have that we should talk about this later in the show. So we can just chat about it for
we don't have to get into the specifics of the actual game. And then my other low is, and this has nothing to do with the boy that I went on the date with. This is actually completely other one. You know, this boy, like, this is just like, I think I was kind of texting you about it the other night, like when I was just kind of going off. I was like, I'm so fucking fed up.
Yes.
I don't know what boys think. They're just like, oh, like, you're like, I find you attractive, like, you work in sports. That's all I need to know about you. Like, I'm just gonna make you into whatever person I want and like put you in this spot. I'm like, like I like am a person, like, you don't know me at all. Like, you don't know a single thing about me. And like this boy, like, I don't want to, because I don't know if he listens, but he like sent me this long text.
Even if he does, who cares?
And I just didn't answer. Well, I just didn't answer because I was like, you don't know me. I don't know what you're like professing right now. So I didn't answer. Then he texted me an apology, and I was like, yeah, like I'm honestly like, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm like, I'm just not like into it like that. And he like freaked the fuck out. I was like, sorry, like I don't know. And I was like, what the fuck? So that was a low.
If you listen to this show, I already hate you.
Boys are scary.
Just so you know.
You don't know anything about me. Sorry. Like, because he was apologizing, so I assumed he was understanding that I'm being upfront for once in my fucking life.
Yeah. Like,
anyways.
Just walk away, nerd.
So anyways, my hero, we'll get more into this one, is Brad Marchand's tweet. I have those in the NHL sections because they're so funny, but I've been loving those. And then also, I know you said this is going to be one of yours too, is Philly this weekend. I'm so excited.
Yes, I changed mine, sort of. I mean, I still have it. If you don't know, Sarah and I are going to Philadelphia this weekend together. It is our first SNS retreat. We are going on fucking vacation, you whores. I'm so excited. I need a vacation, and so does Sarah. I can tell you that. Sarah, you need a vacation. So that's one of my heroes.
I need to get out of here.
Yep, that's one of my heroes as well. If you are in Philly and you want to party, hit us up. Sarah and I want to party.
Yes. Please.
So that is what's going on there. My high this week is that Ben Roethlisberger is gone forever. I never have to see that motherfucker under center ever again. But that means Mason Rudolph is like back on the internet, which also sucks. My low was the Auburn basketball ranking. I got in I didn't get in beef because he wouldn't respond. I don't think he wanted to catch these Twitter hands, but these Twitter fingers, I guess. But like, his ranking was like, he's the reason that Auburn was not ranked first in school history, like for the first time in the AP poll. So that's fucking annoying because they absolutely should be. And his excuse was that like, he determines it based off if the teams are playing right now at a neutral location. I know. So I was like, you freaking ass clown. So that was my low. He wouldn't respond to me being my low, is that he didn't want to argue with me, which is lame. My other hero is that women's pro hockey is going to increase the salary cap and add 2 new teams. I was talking to Mallory Soloris, friend of the program, earlier this week. I think we are going to try and have her on in the near future once her schedule opens up a little bit, just because she is a boss lady and works full time and plays hockey. So we meant to have her on before Sarah went, I don't know, what do we want to call it? Went down. Went down before the incident. But we are going to try and have Mallory on to talk about that as soon as possible. As you guys know, this is a show about seltzers. I have a new seltzer this week. Sarah, I didn't ask what flavor White Claw you had.
I have a watermelon right now and I have a tangerine one for after.
Okay, I do appreciate you being on brand this week because, as we know, we are little White Claw girls going to see Matt Rambo in Philly. So, you know, we couldn't really have a show before Philly if one of us wasn't drinking a White Claw. Stay strapped. But I am having Down East cranberry seltzers. Shout out to my friend Chrissy who left these here.
That sounds like it would be good.
Yeah, shout out Dilly Sanders, Dilly shout out of the week, friend who loves cranberry everything. This one's for you, but really my friend Chrissy just left these at my house, so I'm drinking them. Sorry, Chrissy. Happy birthday.
Thoughts?
Oh. Is this a cider or a seltzer? I don't know. Maybe this is a cider? Someone help me. Someone smarter than me. I can't.
I would say, isn't Down East usually cider?
Yeah. But I thought, okay, but they do, okay, maybe, I don't know. My hair color is showing, but this is good, whatever it is. Dylan would like this. It's sour, though. Very sour. I don't know if I can drink 2 of these, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
For the grind. So I'm going to give this a smash.
That was smashing.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. So I feel like this is going to be, I'm going to say this, and we're going to talk about like fucking wet koala bears for 2 hours again, but I feel like we have a pretty short show today. I did have a couple comments about the MLB. Obviously, there is nothing going on right now at all, but I wanted to talk about these poor MLB beat writers who are going through the thick of it right now, trying to come up with stories. Like I saw one today that was something you probably didn't know about all the teams in the MLB, the best player that's not in the Hall of Fame at every position. I don't know if you saw this. I put a link to it so that you can click on it if you want, but it's like some drawing of Mike Trout that has like blown up on baseball Twitter. Have you seen this?
Oh, I have seen this. I have seen this.
This is the weirdest thing I've seen in a while.
Baseball, like I feel bad for baseball, like not that I'm not a baseball fan, but I'm definitely not as into it as I used to be. But like I'm looking at it again, like it's really resorted to that. Mm-hmm. That's where baseball Twitter is collectively at as a fan base, and I don't blame them. I'd be going crazy too if that's the best you can get.
I just want to pour one out for baseball writers right now. Mm-hmm. It's tough times. They are in the thick of it. As you know, Sarah lives the life of a Patriots fan, and I want to talk about a couple things in the NFL before we recap our picks last week. Sarah, the Patriots were eliminated by the Bills. I know you had a little bit of a bet with a friend earlier this year that you lost, and they kicked your butt again. How are you feeling?
I will say when I lost the bet, I was a lot more optimistic about the Patriots at the time. This time, I even said last week, I was like, I'm not optimistic at all. But I did think it would go a little better than it did. Like, that was just a complete beatdown. I thought they would show up with a little more than that, and the defense was just disgusting. It is what it is. I didn't think they were going to make, like, some huge playoff push, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a quarterback. Lots of people are free agents after this year. I had just a couple of notes about the game because I think it was probably the game that most people were excited about, like in our neck of the woods or whatever people are saying these days. But I have to say that I was watching the post game, and it was the NFL's first ever perfect game. No punts, no turnovers or field goals, and touchdowns on every single drive. I think that's, I mean, if you're going to beat Bill Belichick, that's the way to do it. But the fact that the Bills, I don't know who that says more about, like where the Bills are at in the football they're playing right now, or just how beat down the Patriots were towards the end of the season. And I know that I saw some people, this was my only other comment about this game. I saw some people saying that Steve Belichick should have been let go after the defense's performance. And if he were anyone else's kid, he would be. I was curious if you had any thoughts about that.
I haven't thought much about that. I don't entirely disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that argument. I mean, I wouldn't, but I understand why someone would say that, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place. My only other comment about this game before I have like a couple other things I want to talk about before we do our picks. I was cracking up because Sunday, like all of Pat's Twitter was like, well, now that the Patriots are out of the playoffs, it's time for Tom Brady, like go TB12, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yay, can't wait for Patriots fans to like bandwagon to Bucks Twitter now, which, and some girl like subtweeted me so hard and I was like dying laughing. She was like, I don't think it's really bandwagoning if like the guy who brought you all these Super Bowls like leaves. And it's like, I get that, but the definition of fucking bandwagoning, hello, you guys are bandwagoners, whether you like want to rationalize it or not. Like that's just, it is what it is. And the fact that this girl subtweeted me so hard and unfollowed me, I was just dying laughing.
She followed you?
She was following me before, and that was the tweet out of all of my tweets. That was the tweet that sent her overboard. I was just like, Miss Girl, that's the one. That's the one. Really, you're gonna die on that hill? But like, okay. So
that's kind of weird. Like, it's not like you were doing it at her personally.
I know, and it's like, it's not like I'm like lying. You know what I mean? Like it's true. Yeah. Like just take the chirp and move on. The fact that you're so pissed about it just means that like you mad. So yeah, that was I had some fun with that one on Sunday. My other Twitter thing that I wanted to talk about was I did a poll. So you remember how earlier this year the Raiders coach was fired and then Henry Ruggs got in that accident and they promoted their special teams coach to head coach?
Yes.
So there's a conversation now with the fact that like he got them into the playoffs if he should be offered like a job as a head coach. And it's like, I put a poll up about it on Twitter and it was like 86% of people said yes. And they're still interviewing people. So my only other comment about this is it's like, when you put a guy in this position as, you know, the Raiders owner, and it's like, he gets you into the postseason and you got like, I'm so confused. Like, why would you not give that guy a shot? Like they had tragedy strike their team twice in one season and still made like the playoffs. Like I think that you should give the guy a year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much thoughts on it myself.
Yeah,
but it's like that much. But.
Well, yeah, totally. But it's like, what more could you expect from a coach? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not an ideal situation to walk into.
Also, do you know about the Nickelodeon game?
Yes, I did watch it, actually. I watched it last year, too.
You watched the Nickelodeon game? Okay, do you like the Nickelodeon game?
I love the Nickelodeon. That's the only, if it's not a Patriots game, that's the only other game I'll watch. Although I will sometimes watch the Bengals for Joe Burrow, but for the most part, that's the only. That and the Super Bowl.
Okay, if every game was a Nickelodeon game, would you get into the NFL?
Absolutely. I know it's like catered to get like young audience, like kids, but like that's what catches my attention span.
I am literally putting in our notes to tweet the NFL that they need to make a Nickelodeon, the NFL and Nickelodeon that they need to make. I need this. If this is what it takes, I will create a burner to tweet the NFL and Nickelodeon I will put up a tweet deck every hour until they block me, and then I'll make another one if that's how I will get you into the NFL. I'm not kidding.
I I think that's the only way I'll get, because I love the Nickelodeon. Like, I watched that entire game. I was not, like, even paying attention to the actual what was going on in the field, just, like, the theatrics. I love it.
Or, like, the more, like, realistic option here is you just get into hard drugs and then every game will look like that.
This is true. I've never considered that option, but
I mean, it could happen.
sometimes I'm watching Euphoria. I was like, what if I did that?
Isn't there like a TikTok trend going around like when I feel like I'm in Euphoria or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love TikTok so much. But I'm actually going to tweet the NFL and Nickelodeon after this show. So if you hear this, you better go retweet me and tweet them too if you're a real one. My last comment about the NFL before we get into our picks and on with the rest of the show. So the Dolphins fired their head coach after they beat the Patriots in week 18. And it came out this week that there are rumors that he is willing to go anywhere that will take him and Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew he got fired. I didn't know that he's going around saying that.
There's a rumor that that's what's going on. And the fact that Deshaun Watson could play another snap of football in the NFL freaks me out.
That's nuts. Ugh,
Yeah.
icky.
It is icky. I did not like that. So I hope that if that's true, he catches some heat. I tweeted something about it, and there were all of these like people like, he's innocent, like he was never found guilty, blah blah blah. I'm like, shut up. I hope you don't have a daughter, you loser.
They probably do.
Probably.
They always have like a huge family and like
I
three
know.
daughters.
They have like girl dad in their bio, like John 3:16. Oh, it's always that one. Yep. And it's always like some crazy Patriots graphic that's like their profile photo, or they don't have one at all.
It's like a meme from like 2007 of like the like grainy Patriots graphic, and it was like, you can't test me, I'm a Patriots fan.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, those are the guys who like drive like the big trucks with like the balls hanging from the back of it. Like that's exactly who those.
And they have that sticker on their car with the Red Sox logo peeing on the case.
Yes. Yes. Those people. Yes. Girl dad, John 3:16. What's the thing that's going around right now? Like something Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
That's literally what that is.
It's all one big circle. They're all the same people.
Yep. You can call us little White Claw girls all you want, bitches. So our picks last week, I dropped a game. You dropped 3 games, but we're going to keep it going for the rest of the playoffs to the Super Bowl. So there is time for Sarah to get back in the game. We both had the Bengals, both had the Bucks, both had the Chiefs. You had the Patriots. I had the Bills. We both had the Cowboys. You had the Cardinals, and I had the Rams. So this week's games, we are going to go through and pick again. Sarah, Bengals at Titans. I know you are taking the Bengals, and I'm assuming your reasoning is because Joe Burrow is our god and he needs more cigars.
Exactly. That's all that needs to be said about my reasoning.
I am also going to take the Bengals. I just don't think the Titans are playing great football, especially to be coming off of a week off. I am a little worried that they might be rusty, and they weren't playing great football to begin with in December for me. So I too am going to take the Bengals. 49ers at Packers. Who are we taking?
I'm going Packers.
I'm going Packers too. Okay, why are you going Packers?
I just feel like I was kind of surprised that the 49ers even won that game. I don't really think either of those teams deserved to win that game in the end, but they did not look good, especially at the end there. So I'm going Packers.
Okay, cool. I am going back to my old reasoning, and I'm saying head to head, I will take Aaron Rodgers over Jimmy Garoppolo. Unless Deebo Samuel is throwing more TDs, then I don't know. We'll see. But I am going to take the Packers. Rams at Bucks.
Bucks.
Taking. All right. This is tough for me because I know better than to root against Tom Brady or to pick against Tom Brady. But they're so injured right now. And it's like, well, they are getting Leonard Fournette back. So holy shit. Damn. All right, let me come back to this.
Okay.
I want to know if we're gonna pick differently, and if we need a tiebreaker for this week, I will take the Rams if I have to. But Bills at Chiefs, who are you taking?
I'm actually going with the Bills.
Okay, all right. I am also gonna go with the Bills.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the Rams. I have the Rams upsetting. That's my upset. I'm gonna take the Rams. All right. We are all set for our picks for this weekend. Tweet us your picks of the weekend. I will also be doing player prop picks as always, so you can tune in for those later this week. Sarah, it is a big week of NLL news, and we are also going to a Wings game this weekend.
Woo!
So I also need to know what you are going to wear because I am trying to figure that out. So we'll have to plan.
Question.
Yeah, we'll have to think
we need to figure that out.
Yeah. Okay, this is our reminder that we need to start packing for Philly because my office, my low actually should have been that my office is a disaster because I have so much laundry to put away. I have PR packages to open out the wazoo. So I need to get my life in order before we go to Philly. But what is the NLL rundown of the week?
So we actually have PL and NLL news. The PL trade window opened, and already we saw some action there. The Chaos traded Jake Fricaro to the Cannons for Andrew Q and a 2023 third-round pick. I don't think this is really a bad trade for either side. I think Jake Fricaro, he didn't get a ton of time playing with the Chaos just because, like we saw, they have a very specific offense. It's Canadian box style, and he's not a Canadian box player. So, as talented as he is, and, I think he's a really good shooter and whatnot, it was just hard to find him that regular playing spot in that roster. So, when he was playing with the Chaos, he had great numbers, but, you just have, you have Josh Byrne, Dane Smith, those type of guys playing together. You can't break them up. It's tough. So, to the Cannons, I think it's a good move for him just because now the Cannons are without Paul Rabel, too, now that he's retired. I'm not saying Jake Fricaro is going to replace the production of Paul Rabel. That's tough to do, but I think this is the perfect spot for him just because now he can get that regular playing spot. Same with Andrew Q to the Chaos. He's someone that I think he's pretty flexible and versatile, which I think will fit in well with the Chaos just because it makes him a good depth piece. And he is Canadian, and we know Andy Towers likes the Canadians over there. So I think it's a good trade-off for both sides. I'm definitely think a lot more people are. We stand Andy Towers.
My God, our God.
But I definitely think the big flashy name in this trade is Jake Fricaro. But I think people are kind of underestimating what Andrew Q can bring to that Chaos team too. Plus, I think he's familiar with a lot of the guys on that team. I think it was tough with the Cannons just because, again, last season was their expansion, their first season. It's tough. Everyone knows, expansion teams, no one expects much out of them the first season. Now that they have one season under their belt, I think it'll be good for Jake Fricaro to come in. You're without Paul Rabel in the midfield, so he can fit right in there. Same with Andrew Q. They're coming off a championship season with the Chaos, and now you have this depth piece to add to it with, God forbid, any injuries or just, who knows, what other moves they'll make. Maybe he will get a regular playing spot there. So I thought that was a good, exciting first trade.
Okay.
It was a nice way to kick things off.
Are you expecting
it's the NLL news?
Oh, I was going to say, are you expecting any other big moves or do you have any predictions?
I don't know if I have any predictions. I definitely think because there were some significant retirements between Paul Rabel, Kyle Harrison, the Chrome lost a couple guys like Joel White. So I think you'll definitely see some trades going on there, but also I'm interested to see how the draft plays out because I know the Atlas has a lot of high picks and they already have a pretty stacked team, so they might be willing to trade some big names just to get those higher guys in the draft in there.
Where is the draft?
I think it's all remotely.
Lame. Boo. It's on Tomatoes.
Tomato, throw
Tomato, tomato. All right, NLL news. What's up?
Okay, so NLL week 7 was last weekend. It was a wild weekend. Panther City got their first franchise win.
I'm so mad about this. Because
it was wild because
now we have to choose between, well, I have to choose between Rambo and the Riptide. I don't like this.
See, I'm going into feeling of like, all right, I want to be a Wings fan, but I'm also cheering for Jeff Teat because everyone knows I love Jeff Teat. So I'm a Wings and Jeff Teat fan.
Oh my God. All right.
But
I don't know what to do.
I do feel bad for I will say, I wrote in my Team of the Week article this week, like, the Riptide are trending upwards. Like, they're going to get that first win, like, sooner rather than later. You know,
no,
like,
not against the Wings, though. Me and my pad, by the way.
This week, it was just, I feel like there's such a high-stake game. Like, it was a regular season game between Panther City and Riptide, yeah, but, like, both the teams were looking for their first win. Panther City was looking for their first franchise win. Like, it was two brothers up against each other playing goal. Like, there was a lot going on in that game, and it went to overtime, and the Riptide actually, like, well, they thought they scored first, but I think his right toe or right foot was in the crease, so it got called back. So they had to keep playing overtime. And then Panther City, it was Patrick Dodds. They thought he scored. That one got called back. And it went into like a 10-minute overtime. And then Patrick Dodds actually did score. And Panther City won it. So it was a very dramatic ending. It was a really good game, though. But yeah, no Riptide win yet.
Boo!
Then Saskatchewan, I know I talked about this last week. I was like, yeah, they're 1-3, but I wouldn't be too worried. They're now 1-4. And they lost to Albany, and I will say Albany is definitely trending upwards too. Like, you're really heating up. They looked really, really good this weekend. I think Saskatchewan's offense scored 5 goals. Like, you're not going to win games if you're only scoring 5 goals. But also, I don't know what the problem is because they have one of the best defensive units in the league. Mm-hmm. So I think it's only a matter of time before they finally, like, heat up and get it together. But now, as games just keep going on, like, we're in week 8 now, and they're 1-4. That's tough, considering they're supposed to be at the top of the division easily.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All
right, and your game to watch this week, I don't think anyone could guess.
Yes, the game to watch this week is Riptide at Philly. If you can guess why.
We're totally
Look
not
for us on
going.
TV.
Yeah,
Look for us at the Wells Fargo.
Should we make signs? Can we make little White Claw girl signs? I'm going to be drunkenly doing arts and crafts while Sarah's working on Saturday night. That's what's going to happen.
Literally. Although I will say, I have still not heard anything about me working Saturday, so let's all pray. It still just says TBD.
Sarah, I just had the best idea of my life.
What?
You know, the TikToks that are like, go little rock star. We should do that, but go little White Claw boy. That would be so fucking funny, and you cannot tell me that it wouldn't be.
We'd be like embarrassing, like, moms.
Yes.
You might be on to something.
Or like, you can hold that one and I'll say Duval for Matt Rambo. We have to. This is too good.
Have so many options.
Oh, this is so good. I hope that someone listens to this on Saturday afternoon and has a better idea for us, but I think the Go Little White Claw Boy is the best thing ever. Because you could do like the little stars and like the little different colors like they do on like the TikTok thing. It'd be so good.
I will say, Matt Rambo messaged me earlier today. He's like, do you like the Philadelphia Wings? I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm the fan for this weekend. Like, go Wings.
I already did tell myself that if they sell jerseys, I'm going to buy one because, hello.
You know what? I feel like for the culture, for the culture, we need to have a Rambo jersey.
And I can just hang it, like I can make sure that it's like inside of my Larry Bird jersey. It'll just be like that info right here. Although, what if I got a Jeff Teat jersey?
See, I support that so much. That's
You
why I'm
should
so
get
conflicted.
Jeff.
I'm like, should I?
Yeah, you should get a Jeff jersey. I'll get a Rambo jersey, and then we can just stand there with our really confusing signs because we're rooting for different teams in like a weird way.
I say we do it.
Okay.
I need a souvenir anyways. My souvenir will be a Jeff Teat jersey.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Or are we still getting tattoos? Because I kind of want to.
I want to. I don't have any. And I keep saying for the last year, I'm like, I want a tattoo.
Okay. Do you know what you want?
No, that's why I haven't gotten one. So I'm like, I don't know what I would get. But I feel like if I'm just like spur of the moment.
I have like 8,000 that I want. But I already have 6, perfect. So it's like not like cool for me anymore.
See, I have none. It's a clean slate.
I think I'm gonna get like a little baby microphone.
Ooh.
Like right here. I think that's the move. Because regardless of this podcast, I've been in broadcasting long enough that it's like such a significant piece of my life. Mm-hmm. Like I can justify it. So I think that's the move.
You can definitely justify it.
That's the move.
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, we thought this show was going to be like bang, bang, short, quick episode. But then we start talking about wet koalas for hours. So NHL stuff of the week. I feel like the NHL has been the most entertaining of all the leagues this week. That might just be me, but I have had a great time reading about the NHL this week. I have in our notes to first talk about the Oilers as a whole last week was just absolute chaos. Did you see Connor McDavid's interview when he was asked about Evander Kane? Did you send that to me? Did I send that to you? I don't remember.
Oh, I think I sent it to you because I was like, well, I can't say anything, but I was like, Kendra will say something.
Oh my God, yeah. I watched that. I think that Sarah has learned that when she like can't comment on things or she knows that I will get my hands dirty on Twitter for her, she sends me things because I'm like, no. I literally am like the fucking Elmo on fire meme and I do not give a single fuck about it. So she sent me this interview and I was like, I blew up. I was like, are you kidding me? It's like, because like I understand you want to be a team player and you want to win games and all of that kind of stuff, but it's like, could you imagine some of the guys on the Bruins handling that interview like that?
Like the Bruins have gotten to the point where I think their media training's so good. Like you get answers from Taylor Hall, who has not always had the best reputation in hockey. And I'm like, he sounds like a stand-up guy here. And obviously part of it is like, he's so happy to be with the Bruins. Like he's made that very clear, but never have I heard something that the Bruins say. Like Tuukka Rask does make some questionable comments, but I think that's just his sense of humor.
Oh, whereas I love it.
For the most part, they're always on the right side. Like you never hear the Bruins say something that's like, it's tough to be a fan of this team when you're saying shit like this, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've never. Yeah, and it's like, okay, even if you don't feel any type of way about it, which clearly you don't, and I lost a lot of fucking respect for him after that interview. I have been, I think that we both have praised him quite a bit on this podcast because how do you not? How do you not? He is like one of the most electric players I have ever seen. Our generation will ever see. But it's like when you when you make comments like that, it's like, okay, is he married or engaged?
I don't even know if they're engaged. I know he lives with his girlfriend. I don't know if they're engaged.
Like you have a long-term girlfriend who I'm sure you know what I mean? It's just like, you have a mom, you might have a sister. Like, I don't really care whether he's joining your team or not. You don't have to be his best friend. You can say no comment. You can feel however you want to feel about it. Like, obviously that's you and I'm going to judge you for having that opinion either way. But it's like, come on. How?
I will say the Oilers, they have a lot of problems. Evander Kane is not going to solve a single one of those problems. Like, They have a lot they need to work on. They have a lot they need to add. Like, I think there needs to be some changes up there, but Evander Kane's not going to solve any of those problems. And I think right now, still the best thing for Connor McDavid would be getting out of Edmonton. That is the closest he'll get to success at this point if no one's going to change anything. And Evander Kane's not the answer.
Absolutely. Like, you guys have lost some really shitty games as of late. Like, some really shitty games. And your locker room honestly kind of sounds like a fucking disaster if you ask me. And I don't think that this is going to help at all. And on top of this, I have in our notes as well the Jim Matheson comments the other day.
Yeah.
When that, okay, I want to know, before I tell you how I feel about this, I think you already know. I want to know, are you, which, it's not that we want to draw a line in the sand, because I feel like far more often than not, like, you and I are kind of on the side of the athletes, even though we are in the media. Where do you find yourself in this situation?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the athlete side in this one, just because when you listen to the whole thing, Jim Matheson was like digging to get a bat. Like, it was very clear what he was trying to do, like what his intent was. He was trying to get some like outrageous quote. And we know how NHL players are. Like, they don't give their opinion on anything. Like, I know it's part of their media training and whatnot, but I'm like, he just kept digging. And after a tough loss like that, like, the last thing you should do is just keep on like trying and trying. And then he was just flat out rude. Like, I think that question was just so rude and unprofessional.
Yeah, it's like, when you take this interview for me out of context, it's like, if I didn't know who this guy was and I didn't know the relationship that he has with the team and how he's kind of known for pushing boundaries and buttons and stuff like that, it's like, I don't think that you could. My question for the masses, and I hate to play this card. Actually, I don't hate to play this card. If that were a woman, she'd be gone right now. And she'd never work another day, dude.
People would still be tearing her apart online. And now it's already like, it's like a joke on there. Like, oh, why are you so pissy? Like, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be nothing. But if it was a woman, they're like, she needs to be fired immediately.
Yeah, and it's like, everyone's like, well, he's like an award-winning reporter, so like, he knows what he's doing. Okay, you know what? Even award-winning reporters need to be checked sometimes. Like, it happens. We are all human. Like, and just because someone needs to be checked doesn't mean that they need to be canceled. Like, it's just, this guy needs a fucking reality check that these are people too. They're doing their job. They have to talk to you, and they don't always have to answer questions how you want or how you need. Like, that's just how it is. Ask a different question, ask it a different way.
I saw something kind of interesting. It was saying that, like, NHL players typically don't like to play in Canada. Like, you would think they would love to play in Canada, but because the Canadian media is the way it is, like, you see, especially with the Maple Leafs, like, I feel like they tear apart, like, as much as I hate the Maple Leafs, like, Mitch Marner gets so much shit from them, like, Austin Matthews too, which, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But any Canadian team, really, especially, like, when you have the Oilers with Connor McDavid, like, they're ripping into these people and they just have to deal with it. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, you sign up for it as part of the job, but it's almost kind of like, I feel like how Boston media is with athletes. Like, you just have to deal with getting ripped into and not ever stand up for yourself.
Yeah, totally. It's because of the freaking standard that they have for like hockey, because that's like their main sport. And then like Boston, because of all like the trophies and the accolades that athletes here have brought home. But my thing is that I think that that's one of the reasons that I appreciate the NBA so much, is that it never to me feels like the media is out there like ripping or attacking people. Like, the goal at the end of the day for the NBA is to have fun. I feel like they're the most lenient of all the leagues for their athletes. What they can do, like what they can say, all of that kind of stuff. Like, they're allowed to be themselves. And it's like, for that reason, the NBA has so much flavor and so much character and so much culture that it's like, I feel like sometimes that's where hockey goes wrong.
I agree. I feel like the NBA is like the pinnacle of what sports leagues want to be. Obviously, it has its own problems too. But in terms of marketing, I think it's the sport that is the best at marketing. You know, we know the most about the players as people. They're allowed to show their personality. They're allowed to like joke around, and they feel comfortable like in what they're doing. Whereas hockey players, like baseball players, I feel like those two in particular, you don't know really anything about those people unless they like choose to go out on a whim and be like, oh, I'm gonna like tweet every now and then. And then everyone's like, oh my God, he's the funniest, most personable person in the league. And it's like, I'm sure there are plenty of funny people in the league. They just like, I don't know, they can't voice that really.
Yeah, totally. It's like, that's one of the things I've noticed here too, is it's like, obviously it's no secret that I am very fortunate to be at TD Garden very often. And I know that I'm very fortunate for that. But the difference for me between like Bruins games and like Celtics games is it's like when they're in commercial break or whatever, it's like the Bruins are like, I don't know, guess like how many balls are under this cup kind of situation, or like what's this player's favorite food. Whereas like when I go to Celtics games, they're like, okay, what does Dennis Schroeder do in his spare time? Does he love to like skateboard at like skate parks that are around? Does he, play the guitar? Does he like do all this whatever? Is he a stand-up comedian? And it's like that stuff is cool. Like I want to know that Dennis Schroeder like loves to like hit the half pipe on his days off. You know what I mean? Like I think that's way cooler than knowing that like Pasta likes to eat pizza. You know what I mean? Like it's just like okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just like that's the difference for me is that like I feel like it's almost cool in the NHL to be like misunderstood and stuff. And it's like no, like fans want to know you. Like and the Boston media is hard on these guys, but it's like fans want to know the athletes, and I don't think the NHL does that well. And reporters don't make it any easier when they're putting this much pressure on people. Like ask them, like something different. Like pissing them off isn't going to get anywhere for anyone.
Yeah, that was an insane comment. I don't care how well respected a reporter he is. I don't think anyone has the right to ask a player that. I don't know. That's just me.
I also kind of referenced this to someone on Twitter earlier this week. I was like, if this were a chick, though, it would have turned into so Bill, I'm just circling back around to last week when, I wanted to follow up about your New Year's resolutions. That's what it would have turned into.
Yep.
So before we get into some Bruin stuff, I just had to throw in here Timo Meier's 5-goal game.
Yeah.
That was sick. I was working, but I saw the highlights and was getting all the live tweets. And I was like, okay, do you have like Twitter notifications on for anyone?
I do for a few things, yeah.
So I have them on for the Sharks. And like I put my phone down and kept seeing like Sharks tweet after Sharks tweet after Sharks tweet. And I was like, all right, something seriously had to have happened here. And it was just like every other tweet was like something about Timo Meier. And I was just like, holy crap. Like I was so sad I didn't get to watch this game, but the highlights were dope.
See, I was watching it because I was working that fucking game. So I had to upload all the highlights. I'm like, this motherfucker is making me work so much. Because I was like, oh, Sharks Kings. It's probably going to be kind of a dud of a game. And then once he hit the 5-goal mark, I like messaged our Slack chat. I was like, if he gets 6, can I talk about a sock trick? They're like, no one knows what that is.
What?
What is a better time to introduce the sock trick than right now? But he was close.
We are sock trick stands. I don't want to throw my hat. I don't care about my socks. I want to throw something.
Well, take off your fucking shoes in that ice rink and chuck your dirty ass socks on the ice.
I'm just gonna start throwing my bra. That's what's gonna happen.
I like said to my coworker, I was like, I definitely probably like violate some COVID protocol, take off your shoes and just start like I was bare feet in there. I was like, I don't care. I would love that. It would be such a funny visual.
It'd be so fun. So I just, as a Sharks fan, had to make a comment about that. I know we have quite a few things to talk about the Bruins. Obviously, you were at the game the other night, and I know that this is probably a sore subject, but what are your comments about Tuukka's first period?
I say it was definitely not his best showing. Like, he had 4 goals on, I think it was 12 shots. Like, it was nuts. But the defense was, that was the worst I've ever seen that defense. Like, there was not a single defender from Charlie McAvoy to Connor Cliff, that horrific game. Like, that might have been his worst game of his career. I don't want to, like, name names. I'm not one to be like, this person played. That was really bad. But there was not a single defender out there. Like, it was pretty much just Tuukka up against one of the best offenses. Like, they're second in the league right now, I think, in the entire league. Everyone knew the Hurricanes were going to be a tough game. I thought it was going to be a closer game than it was. Everyone thought it was going to be a closer game than it was. There's so much, like, hype up for it and stuff. So that was just a disappointing
I almost bought a ticket.
But it was 1,000% the defense.
Yeah, outside of Svetch, I love the Canes roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love their team.
And I know Patrice Bergeron, like, said it, he was like, "That's not our team, we know it's not our team, like, we've won the last, like, 8 of 9 games." So I'm not worried at all because of that game, they're just like, nothing was working for us. I would be worried if we saw more games like that, or at least maybe not to that extent, but the defense, the performance they put on was just horrendous. Like, you put Allmark in there, he doesn't let in a goal while he's in there, and you still can. I will say, like, the offense didn't do them any favors, but that happens in hockey where they just aren't able to do anything that night. That's whatever. Letting up 7 goals is no.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's not something you can like justify. It's if you have like a 3
No.
goal night, 4 goal night every once in a while, like understood.
Yeah.
But the defense, I mean, so earlier this season when they just couldn't seem to find any chemistry between the lines, that was our concern. And then eventually our concern kind of shifted towards the defense and, what this goalie rotation was going to look like. But it's like they did wind up hitting that hot streak towards the end of December and into January. But I feel like I haven't seen a spark of that team in a second. Like, yeah, they've won some games. They've won some good games. They've won some greasy games. But it's like, I feel like that spark just like doesn't feel like it's there right now.
I think just after that game, it kind of just put it to a halt. Like, no one even, like, you saw people all freaking out on Twitter, like, "Oh my god, this Bruins team, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, you need to remember, like, last week when you're all like, "Oh my god, like, this Bruins team is gonna go all the way," like, blah, blah, blah. Again, I still don't think this Bruins team is going all the way. I do think if they keep playing like they were for the last couple of weeks, they will make a lot bigger playoff push than I ever thought they would. They're in good standings right now. Like, they're comfortably in that wild card spot. I'm not sure if they're ever going to make it up in the rankings just because you're up against the Panthers, the Lightning. Like, I just don't think that's very likely. Like, Capitals are
No.
really good too. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think we'll ever not But if they play like that again, like the defense, then I am going to be worried. And I think they'll need to shift some things around or make some big at the trade deadline. I don't know what that trade would look like now, but I think the defense is what they need to focus on because finally we're seeing secondary scoring. Everyone's been talking about that. Like, they seem to be waking up. Again, last game, I think it was just a dud that happens. But yeah, 7 goals is that 2 of them, I will say 2 of the goals that Tuukka let in were like soft goals he should have had. But I'm trying to be lenient with him just because it is like his second game back. Like, he was just coming back from surgery. 2 soft goals, it's whatever. Your defense not doing shit for you is the real issue there.
Okay. So you spoke about like their potential to maybe make a wild card chase. And at what point? So there's obviously, speaking of the trade deadline and that kind of stuff, maybe moving some people around. There's obviously been some chatter of trading some boys from Providence and those sorts of things. So it's like you start to look at the playoff picture and the potential of them making that wild card slot. The trade deadline's approaching. At what point do you kind of maybe satisfy some people and either make a trade with some people on the big Bruins or the Providence Bruins, or do you maybe give some people some playoff or some like ice time they've been asking for? Do you send them away? At what point in the season do you kind of start to assess those questions in your mind?
I think the trade deadline is not till like March. Like, we're ways away, which I didn't realize that's like far. But I think it'd be better for the Bruins to do something sooner rather than later, just because they do have some obvious problems they need to address. Yeah, they were streaking, they're on that hot streak for a while. Things were working for them, but you can't be on a hot streak forever. And it's not like you can just ignore those problems. But I will say, I feel like we've seen Oscar Steen work out. Like, he's definitely earned himself a permanent role.
Yeah.
It's he like has looked really good. That's why you saw Carson Coolman's now over in Seattle. So I think at this point, like, they're having good looks with these young players, but the people that are in Providence now, I think have either had their chance to like show like, okay, this is what it is, or they're not producing up in Boston, or we just haven't seen them at all because they're still early in their development. So I wouldn't mind seeing more like smaller trades down in Providence for maybe like younger guys that we can get back that we can give a look and see how they fit in. I feel like it's also less risk because then you still are able to develop them down at that level. Whereas, I don't know, obviously we know this Jake DeBrusk trade, I don't even have any words about it anymore because you don't see anything about it.
It doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, whatever. I'd rather test it out with the younger guy who they can develop and maybe we can see down the line or can randomly be a playoff hero because I feel like that's what ends up happening is these random guys that no one's ever heard of gets pulled up for the playoffs and scores like 3 goals in 2 games or something.
So who would you right now, if you had to let a player or two leave for something potentially good, who would you be willing to get rid of from the Bruins?
From like Boston Bruins?
Mm-hmm. Like who are you willing to kind of part ways with if it were to work out positively for you guys? Because that question's going to come up. That question's going to be relevant here soon.
There's honestly a lot of defensemen that I'm okay at this point seeing go. Like obviously McAvoy never. I don't think they can trade him, but pretty much everyone. Like I like Grzelcyk. I want to keep Grzelcyk. Carlo. I want to keep any of those other defenders. Open game to me, honestly, and I feel like because they have so much experience, like there are some older guys on there that you could get a decent return for them. Yeah. Offense wise, I don't know, because I will say I really like our fourth line these days. The only name for some reason that's popping out to me, and I feel bad because I really like the way he's been playing, is Erik Haula. I feel like he's been on every single NHL team at this point, but also
I feel like you could get a good return for him right now, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like that's someone that people are like, okay, he's been doing so well with the Bruins. He has all this experience. Like, he's playing on the second line. He looks really good up there. But also, I think the Bruins could get someone that, like, because the second line's always been a big question mark. Like, even with David Krejci, he never had competent wingers. And now, I don't know, Erik Haula is great on that line and stuff. But I think he's also, I hate saying it, an easily replaceable person.
Totally.
Where if you can get a trade with a decent return, then whatever.
Totally. I'm
Jake
with you.
DeBrusk too. Yeah, Jake DeBrusk too. He wants to be traded, so I hope a trade happens for him. But also at this point, it doesn't look like anything's on the horizon. I know Nick Foligno is supposed to come back, so we don't necessarily need him as much as we did.
Yeah.
But I think if they lost him, it would kind of shake things up. Just they do need him on some line, like the bottom lines. And I know he doesn't want to be here, and that sucks for him, but...
Totally. Yeah, I'm with you. I think our only other Bruins comment was from you about Marshy's Twitter.
He's just been, like, on a bender lately on Twitter. It's like all of a sudden he remembered that he has Twitter or something, because he's on there every day just roasting random people. Like, today it was that agent. He was just, like, something about, he's like, not that kind of party, Alan. It was that same agent who made that weird Marc-Andre Fleury graphic with the sword going.
Oh, yeah. I kind of want to tweet him and just be like, since you're back on Twitter, could you, like, roast me?
Because he used to be so active and so frequent with the roasting. Like, there are some good ones, and I've missed that because he hasn't done them in a while. And now he's just been, like, on Twitter at least once a day. And I made a tweet today. I'm like, he literally just logs on, drops the hammer on someone, and then it seems like he doesn't even check his phone after that.
I know.
All right.
Yeah. It's a great tactic because when you start checking back, you, like, feel like you have more to say, or like you acknowledge what other people are saying and you feel the need to chime in. But it's like, if you don't care after, you, like, high key win. You win because you don't give a fuck to, like, circle back. So honestly, I appreciate, as someone who drops the hammer, I appreciate that from him. So I appreciate that. Any Leafs comments before we move in to kind of our pop culture stuff?
Yeah, I was just
working.
Yeah, I was working the Leafs Rangers game last night. The Leafs went up 3-1. Everyone, I tried my best. I was like, I'm not going to make any tweets about them losing after they had a 3-1 lead, but they quite literally let the Rangers score 5 unanswered goals, including Ryan Reeves, who scored twice, which it was his first multi-goal game since 2013. I guess it was also Ryan Reeves' birthday, so that's cool. But I was like, oh my God, they are about to have a hat trick to Ryan Reeves. That's so fucking embarrassing. I was laughing my ass off while I was doing this game. I was like, I wanted to make a comment because, like, obviously I'm posting the highlights, like, to the NHL website, and I had to put that they, like, had a 3-1 lead, but they lost it, and I just wanted to straight be like, Leafs blew a 3-1 lead. But I'm like, I can't. I just have to
Leafs
say what the
blow.
score change was.
The end.
There's, like,
That's
certain
it.
words you can't even use, and blows one of them. I'm like, fuck.
Boo! Throwing tomatoes. I don't know why this is so random, and I'm on one today, and I'll apologize. You know the TikTok of, like, the squirrel, like, dancing with the rainbow behind it?
Yes.
I have that, like, stuck in my head, and I can't stop. Like, this is, like, all this, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I, like, seriously have been just picturing, like, a squirrel dancing between us on my screen forever because I can't stop watching those TikToks. I'm no longer on Skinwalker TikTok. I am now on Squirrel TikTok. So bless up.
God bless.
Bless. Are you still on baby TikTok?
My entire TikTok for you page now is just Euphoria. That's every single TikTok I have.
Heard. Pop culture stuff this week. Speaking of TikTok, I have one about your boy, Joe Burrow. I know that you saw him in, were they Cartier?
Yes.
Were they Cartier glasses?
I believe so, yeah.
The Cartier sunglasses, and a reporter asked him, they were just like, so, you know, like, what's with the glasses? He was like, he just laughed. He was like, I think they're cool, man. And that's it. And he just, like, laughed. And I don't know why. I watched that video far more than I would like to admit. I just, like, kind of looped it and was like, oh, he's so cute.
He's so cute. And he just, I love him so much. And I was like,
so
I would
cute.
hate those glasses on, like, probably anyone else ever, but he just makes them look so good. I was like, you're so cute.
And he literally looked like a Bratz doll. And I literally was like, spit in my mouth.
Smash.
Smash.
That was smashing.
Absolutely smash. Yes. There's no pass option. It's smash or smash.
No.
Double
Smash.
I just honestly wanted to talk about how attractive he is and how it's not fair. And he's just so cute and innocent and adorable. It's like him and Justin Herbert. I just sit here and I like am like a middle schooler with a crush again. And it's like, I could slide in Joe Burrow's DMs, but he'd never see it. And then Justin Herbert doesn't even run his own social media. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, they will never know I exist.
I will say I've tried sliding in Joe Burrow's DMs a couple times, never gotten a response. If anyone's curious, don't try. He's not going to see it.
Or if you have suggestions of how to slide in Joe Burrow's DM, hit me up because I have not slid yet, and I would be more than happy to. Sarah, what is your pop culture shit this week?
Okay. I see it everywhere. I see it on TikTok. I see it on Twitter. I see all these memes. And honestly, sometimes I like them just to make it seem like I know what's going on. I don't. What the fuck is pushing P? What does that mean? Like, I know it's future that's saying, but what's P?
I don't get
Why
it.
Are you pushing it?
I don't understand. I am so glad you did this. I just pulled up Urban Dictionary because I don't know it either. Okay. All right.
What is it?
This is great. Pushing the lifestyle of a player, a real one. Putting your people in position is pushing P.
That's it.
Use it
That's
in a
pushing
sentence.
P.
Get a pushing P mug for your mom, Julia. Keep it player. Or what? I don't understand. Why?
I honestly thought it had something to do with drugs. I'm still not fully convinced it's not drug related.
Me same. Yeah. If you get this and you are way cooler than us, please let me know because I see this all the time. I'm just like, I'm going to pretend like I know what this means. I'm going to pretend like I know what this means. Yeah, pushing P, totally get it. No.
No, sometimes I'm like, I know no one's even going to notice that I like this, but I'm going to like it anyways to make it seem like I'm in the know. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this tweet means at all.
Bro, are we getting old? Because I feel the same way about this Wordle shit.
Oh, I have no fucking clue what Wordle is.
No, I don't get it.
The other day, because I'm like, why is everyone has a different one? I'm like, what if I just copied and pasted someone's and was like, oh my god, Wordle? Well, like, would they know that I just copied what they were doing? Like, I don't get what it is.
The way that just put my brain in a pretzel was unreal. I kind of Sarah, we can figure out Wordle on our road trip.
Oh yeah, we have so much time. Like we will learn everything about Wordle, Push and P.
Yep. Well, yes, I'm in. Sold. So wait, is Wordle an app? Do you know what is it? What is it? I just know that it's squares.
I don't know, because I only see it on Twitter, but I'm like, this must be an app, but why are you guys playing it on Twitter? I'm not complaining. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me, but I'm just like, I don't know what this is.
It kind of reminds me of when you would like play Words with Friends and like share it on Facebook and like roast your friends. And be like, yo, this motherfucker couldn't come up with a 24-point word. What an idiot. Yo, I miss Words with Friends. Can we bring that shit back? Can we run that back?
Let's bring it back. I love Words with Friends.
Words with Friends is Push and P. Did
so
I do
true.
that right?
I was just thinking.
Did I do that right?
Words with Friends, Push and P.
Bussin'.
I think. That's all we know.
Bussin's all we know.
Bussin' Words with Friends.
This got out of hand so fast. Do you have a tea party this week?
I do. It's just specific to Euphoria because, like I said, I'm so deep in Euphoria TikTok. I did not realize this. So Alexa Demi, she plays Maddie in Euphoria. I guess no one knows what her actual age is. And there's a bunch of pictures from her from like 2010 and like 2008 where she's with like the Kardashians. Like she has been in so many things and hung out with so many people that how old is she? If you Google it, her age doesn't come up. And everyone's like, oh, I think she's 31. No confirmation of it anywhere. And she just knows everyone. So I'm like, is she a time traveler? Because also she looks so young.
I just looked her up on Wikipedia. She does not have a birthday on like a year.
Yes. I'm like, how the fuck do we know a bunch of shit about people from like 700 BC, but no one could figure out this girl's fucking birth date? It's bizarre.
I'm literally on Google right
now. Mm-hmm.
Bro.
There's nothing.
How do we know how do we know who built the fucking pyramids and like how they did it potentially, even though I think it was aliens, and we don't know this girl's goddamn birth year?
I saw a meme. It was like a screenshot from Euphoria of her and Sydney Sweeney walking down the hallway, and the caption was Alexa Demi and Betty White, 1940. Because no one knows when she was born. Like, is she a time traveler?
That is so funny, dude.
It's so weird. I'm like, she's one of the most famous people right now, too. She's hanging out with, like, Hailey Bieber, like, the Z's. Like, she's with everyone. And, like, no one knows anything about her. She's been in the spotlight for so many years. And I didn't realize that either. I thought Euphoria was kind of her first role. She's been in so much that you're like, what the fuck?
Also, like, how has someone not come out and been like, hey, yeah, I went to middle school with this girl. We are X years old.
Not a single person. I'm like, has she like sworn everyone to secrecy? Because also I just found out recently that she's like dating this like singer and has been for like 4 years or 5 years. And like, if you go on her Instagram, she only has like 6 pictures and they're just of her. but she's been in, like, his music videos and stuff, and people are just now finding out they've been dating for years. I'm like, how is she so secretive?
I feel like this entire time I've just been that like gif of the chick with like the like letters and like numbers going around her face. Because I'm just so shook by this. Like, what the
He's
fuck?
a mystery. I'm like, good for you, girl.
Maybe she's a vampire.
I could see it.
I could too. My tea party this week is way less cool, and now I feel like a loser. But I just wanted to say fuck Stephen A. Smith, because the other day, I'm sure you saw my private Snap story of that video I put up of his just completely inappropriate comments about women in the sports industry that got completely swept under the rug by his COVID takes with Kyrie. And it was just absolute bullshit. And I'm so thankful for Swagoo, who stood up for the like women on ESPN and all that kind of stuff, because basically Stephen A was trying to bully his way into a women's space and saying that it needed more male perspective when there are 2 female hosted shows on all of ESPN, and they are both podcasts. And one is named after Stephen A. Smith's show, and the other is hosted by Mina Kimes, which I'm not even sure is still running anymore. So the comments were just disgusting. They really pissed me off, especially as someone who like fights for inclusivity in the sports space. It just really, really pushed me the wrong way. And it's like, I know that Stephen A is controversial and that's his job and that's what he makes all this money for, but it was not a good look for me.
I like, because like you said, his whole thing is to be controversial and whatnot, but that didn't even seem like he was trying to do it for the views or anything. That just seemed like that was genuinely how he felt.
Yeah.
And it was like going back in time to like fucking 1950s, like just the way he said it. Ugh, I don't know. When you because I saw it on your private story, I was not watching it, obviously, but that did not, there's no way to spin it into being anything like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Like, you made it very clear what you meant.
Yeah. So I wanted to like kind of use this as a way to like transition to our tweets of the week, but there was a girl on Twitter who has me blocked and was trying to like start beef with me over this, but she had me blocked, so I couldn't see what she was saying. So she was like, one of my friends like sent like a screenshot of it to me, and she was saying they're like making a mountain out of a molehill and blah blah blah. I don't think if you have someone blocked on Twitter, you should be able to comment on their shit.
No. Like, say it with your chest to their face, or just sit out. Like, you look like a coward.
Yep. My only other tweet of the week was there was this guy who tweeted me, and he was like, what Jaguars game can I take you to next year for a first date? And I quote tweeted it, and I sent a bonk, and he was like, LOL JK, I would never take her out. She's insane. And I was just like, oh, heard. So those are my tweets of the week.
My only, it's not a tweet, it's an Instagram DM that I just recently discovered. I did not know, because like I said before in the show, I do not check my Instagram DM requests. If you're trying to reach me, don't do it there. You will never reach me. But I was going through and I found this one. He literally gives me like a breakdown of what he thought on the Bruins game, like every single time they play. I've never responded. I've never opened it, so it's never said seen. But they're like paragraphs. And most recently, he said something about like what he thinks the Bruins should do for trades, what he thinks about the Capitals game tonight, like all this stuff. And I just like went through it. I'm like, dude, just write an article or something. Like, you have good ideas. It was just weird. I'm like, why are you telling me? What about me is like, I'm going to just unload my full analysis. Put that somewhere creatively. You got some good ideas here. Yeah. It was just bizarre because you go through your Instagram DM requests and they're just like random, like gross ass shit. But then I just see paragraph on paragraph. And like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? It's like, nothing weird, just the Bruins. But he's talking to no one.
Yep. Yep. There are so many accounts like that just kind of geek me out. I only have one closing thought. My closing thought is that women are kind of tough as shit. You know, if you know what women go through every 28 days, Shark Week is not fun. Toughed it out for this show. But like, if you have a girlfriend, you have a mom, you have a sister, like, we're tough, you know. Love your girl gang. We go through some shit and we still make
Hell
it work,
yeah.
you know. So love your ladies. Sarah, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yes, I have two. My first one pertains to Euphoria because I want people's opinions on this. Just someone like tweet at me their thoughts because I want to know what they think about Cassie and what happened with her if you watched the show recently.
I do.
Because I was like, oh, okay, what are your thoughts? Because
Wait.
everyone on TikTok, because I told you I'm so deep into Euphoria TikTok, I'll give my thoughts first.
Okay.
And what I've seen now, I'm like, am I a bad person?
Okay.
Because I just think, like, obviously what she did is so fucked up. Like, well, like, I would never do that to someone. But that was like,
Yeah.
I understand where she's coming from because, like, she said so many times, like, I just want to be loved. That's my number one thing. So, like, any attention she gets from boys, she just takes it as, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, they're going to give me attention. And, like, I understand where she came from. Again, I would never do what she did. But then people are like, if you, like, in any way still support Cassie, like, that just means you would do the same thing and you're a terrible person too. I'm like, clearly you
disagree
do
with that
not have
take.
any insecurities.
Yeah.
Because that is so not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I would never, but like the young woman that she is like portraying in the show,
Yeah.
if I were that age and I had the insecurities that Cassie does, I can't say that I would make any different decision, but it's like as a grown ass woman, it's easy to sit here and be like, no, fuck that. Like I would never. But it's like as a kid,
Yeah.
kids make
I'm like,
mistakes.
she's 17. But I was like, am I a bad person for like understanding why she doesn't, like, I think she knows it's wrong. Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm the issue. Like, obviously, I know, don't fuck your best friend's ex that's abusive.
Yeah.
Like, hell no. But I'm like, she's just insecure.
Mhm.
Like, that does not excuse what she did. But I don't know. TikTok's really attacking me. And I'm like, am I a problem
we're on the same
too?
page. No, I think that it's young and
Okay.
mature girls who aren't really in like a space to be able to acknowledge that they have felt that or they could feel that or their friends have felt that.
Mhm.
And it's like I think that difference is that you and I are kind of in like an adult space where we can like kind of accept and appreciate the people that we were at that age that we are no longer.
Yeah.
And that's on growth, baby. 2022.
Hell yeah. My only other closing thought, not related to Euphoria, is that everyone better fucking watch the Philly, New York NL games on ESPN Plus and look for us. Otherwise, you're fake.
And I am making Sarah watch NFL playoffs this weekend at a bar, hammered.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We will have NFL analysis next week as a team. Baby, let's go. Wait, should we put $1 parlay on each of our picks?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sarah and I are doing parlays. This is getting crazy. Our show started out like so slow and then towards the end just became fucking chaotic as hell. So if you are here,
such mayhem.
Mayhem, as always. I don't want peace, I want problems. Always. You can follow us on Twitter at Sat and Seltzers Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Saturdays and Seltzers. If you are here, thank you so much for still listening. We love you guys. We'll see you next week and keep on sipping, y'all.